Hello everybody. I got a video for you here. This is an RV that I've got. I don't actually have to show you nothing. If you just listen to what I'm saying, I'm going to tell you what all the symptoms was that I was having with this RV. And we did get it fixed. The battery, when you put the battery cable on, it would arc, which is supposed to arc because of the controller or the inverter, whatever it is, but then it should quit. You can put your finger on top of the battery and it would get hot. So about 8 months ago, I took this camper right down the road to the church, and we went to an event, and it was hot. It was during July. It was hot, and we could go in the camper and get cooled off and stuff. That's nice to be able to go get cooled off. But when we had to jump it off to go up there, and when I got the camper up there, we like to have never got it cranked to bring it back home. If you break down in one of these things, it is trouble. But we hooked 2 trucks to it, 2 sets of jumper cables, 2 trucks to it, and we finally got it cranked. And this camper would kill a battery or make it have a short life. Now, this thing has actually been acting up a pretty long time, but not to the point like where it wouldn't crank, and not bad. All the inside stuff would work, all the lights, everything would work. But I've been like camping before, and I had to put a little charger, plug it up to the electricity, and put a little charger on the battery. This is all something you're gonna understand easy, especially like if you buy a used camper. You might think you know all about it, but you might not know everything about that camper that you actually need to know. And I thought I knew all about this camper because I've went way distance out to try to know everything. Okay, so we got it back home, and now we done drove it. It is fixed. But when I was backing in right here, it shut off. But I done backed up all the way where I was going to back up, and it shut off. Oh, and we hadn't messed with it for 8 months. Okay. So, you see on the video date here what time of the year it is, and it's time to get going, So, me and my son got out here messing with it. And I was going to call a man to come fix it that I know, but he's kind of hard to get, especially this time of the year. But we took the battery and charged the battery, cranked the camper up. I mean, it's funny how it would do this one day and how it would do, different. And my son was inside, and I was outside checking the battery with a voltmeter. And sometimes the volts would show right, and sometimes the volts would go down. He looked at the meters in the camper, and the alternator wasn't charging. Now this is not alternator trouble. I'm just telling you what we done. We took the alternator off. He took it off, and we took that alternator to get it tested. Had all those on, or O'Reilly's or somewhere. We took it to get it tested. The alternator was fine. And we come and put this alternator back on. And he had took the controller out too. So I was thinking it might be the controller, the inverter. I didn't know. But I do know that they have trouble with these inverters. It wasn't the inverter neither. We put the inverter back in. We still had the same problem. I even, when I had the, I guess about the craziest thing you ever seen. If you put the hot cable on first, then the negative would arc and get hot. If you put the negative on first, then the hot would do that. And I seen the hot, the battery on the meter, the voltmeter. I seen it shoot up to like 19 one time. In which I thought it was overcharging. I just didn't know what was causing all this. It was doing all kind of stuff. And like you could charge the battery and they would die. I even like put a little trickle charger on it, like so it would, an automatic trickle charger. You don't want to put no manual charger on nothing. So it's an automatic charger. So what that means is it'll come on when it needs to and it'll go off when it needs to. Well, when we come out here messing with this thing, even though it had a trickle charger on it, it was dead as a doornail. We charged the battery up, got it cranked. Then we started seeing, the meter on the truck, the gauge on the RV. Started seeing the gauge wasn't charging. The alternator's good, but it ain't charging. So we are just lost, And me and my son, we do it yourselfers. But these campers are really something else. So after we done all that, we are still about as lost as you could be. And I'll tell you what it acted like. It acted like there was a short on the hot wire somewhere, like grounded to the chassis. Now that's what it acted like. But that ain't what it was. I had, not very long, bought a battery for this thing. Not long, before we went up to the church. And that battery, I had to replace it. It destroyed that battery. And I'm not sure if I said this, but I was going to call in an expert, but I did say it. He's kind of hard to get. But anyway, my son knows this like he's a big truck mechanic. But he's also like somebody like me and my son that's a do-it-yourselfer. He never pays nobody to do nothing. We don't either. But he was talking to him on the phone, and I heard him walking around and talking and everything. I was trying to listen, trying to follow my son around and see what he was saying. 3 heads is better than one. And there's nothing on YouTube about this. There's stuff similar, but there wasn't the same symptoms as what I was having. I was having crazy symptoms. Oh yeah, and the steps didn't want to act right. Oh, they would come down slow, which is, I guess, would be natural. But right there, that little door right there, is where my battery is that cranks this RV. So, there's one battery in that compartment. And like I say, it ain't something I gotta show you. You know what a battery looks like. This is what the kind of charger I had on it. A trickle charger. When it's charged, the light screen. When it's red, the battery's dead. Okay. I think it's a good idea to have a trickle charger on, an automatic trickle charger on these campers. I've got them. I got boats and all kind of stuff. I got 2 boats, a bunch of vehicles. My son's got a bunch of vehicles. We got extra cars. But anyway, that's gonna come into play in a minute. The guy that my son was talking to, he said, "How many batteries you got?" I said, "1." He said, "Oh no. There's more batteries on this RV." And I said, "No. I've looked all through this camper. There are not more batteries." Now, I actually thought it was kind of strange at just having 1 battery. But, I mean, that's the way it was. I mean, and that's what I thought. And he said, "No, I assure you, that camper's got more than 1 battery." Okay. So, my son started looking for batteries. If you notice right here, that's got a bungee cord on it. The lock's gone for some reason. It's like that when I got it. But there's a compartment like this right here on the other side of this camper. It's a door just like that. But it has a lock on it. And I have, I guess, never opened that compartment since I've had this camper. He got the keys out and unlocked that compartment. And there was 2 batteries in there. Deep cycle batteries. 7 years old. 7 years old. My son's got a meter, and that's what I'm talking about, all these vehicles and boats and stuff we got. He's got a meter where you can put it on that, but a 7-year-old battery, there ain't no way, But he's got a meter. I think it might have cost like over $100, I don't know what it was, but you put the leads on it and you mash the load test. I'm sure that y'all know what I'm talking about. Both batteries showed bad. I'm not sure about this, but I think a battery can short. And I mean, I know you can have a dead cell too. But you're talking about 7-year-old batteries. Anyway, the load tester thing's a good idea to have one and just put it in your camper. And the batteries was the problem. Them 2 7-year-old batteries. So we went and got 3 batteries. The battery that was in this compartment on this side was one my son put in there, off of his pontoon boat. And so I had to give him his battery back and buy me brand new batteries. So I bought 3 batteries and put them in there. And man, it was like the band playing. Everything went to working. I'm not sure if I said this, but the generator wouldn't crank. There's a button inside the camper. Hey, this is a nice camper. You sit in there and let the jacks down. And you also can sit inside there, you ain't got to get out, and crank the generator up from inside sitting in the seat. And you also can switch it off there too. But when we replaced the batteries, the gauge started working in the camper. Everything started working. And this is what I'm saying. Like, if you got a used camper, I did not know there was more batteries on this camper. You know, I've been in every compartment 20 times, except that compartment over there that was locked. So with that said, you know, that explains why the steps would come down slow. Oh, that explains why you would have to jump it off. And then it even got, son's got one of them jump boxes, you know. That's not a bad thing to have neither, to put in your camper. Just keep it charged, you know, like once a month. But that's not a bad idea to have that. Now y'all, this thing, man, I didn't know what I was going to do with this thing. I'll show you the other compartment. Right there. I don't reckon I've ever opened that in my life. But, and we took it and drove it last night over to the boy's house to, like I said, trust me, there's more batteries on that. We drove it over there. No problems. No problems. Like so, this thing's good to go. Just needs washing. All right, y'all. Thanks. I hope that I might have helped somebody. We'll see y'all next time. And by the way, I do have other stuff that I fixed on this camper that I'm going to be making other videos. And this stuff, just like this right here, is stuff that I can make you understand even though it's been fixed. So you might want to subscribe. Thank y'all.